Have you ever gotten the need to just be creative and it's time to cook dinner and I'm in the mood to be creative? And see, usually for years my kids hated it when I say that because for years mom's in a creative mood meant mom's experimenting for dinner. And yes, there were a time or two I tried to poison the kids. Of course, not intentionally, just it was bad. It was so bad. But anyway, I had learned, and the good thing about that is through their patience and tolerance, my family allowed me to learn a lot of really amazing recipes. And today, I want to share one of those recipes with you. It is a pinwheel roast, and there's a lot of different variations of this. I'm going to show you one way to cook a pinwheel roast using a pork loin, and I think you're really going to enjoy this, so hang tight. Here we go. Okay, ingredients. So, to start with, let's look at our meats. You're going to need about 1.5 pounds of ground pork and about 2.5 pound roast if you're going to make one the same size I am. I'm going to use about half these mushrooms. That's half a pound. I'm going to thinly slice them, very, very thin with the stems. And then I'm going to chop up about 1/4 of the bag of carrots, so about 1/4 pound of carrots, finely chopped. I'm going to use about half a bag of baby spinach and about 1 cup of colby jack. We're going to end up using about 1 tablespoon of garlic and 1/4 medium onion. That's going to end up being about 1/4 cup or so. Half a red and half a green bell pepper. And then our seasonings are sage, black pepper, parsley, basil, and salt. We're going to use about 1 tablespoon of each of those. You're going to need a block of Philly cheese and about 1/2 stick of unsalted butter and 2 nice large eggs. Ta-da! This is what they look like when they're all chopped up. So you see the carrots are just teeny tiny little particles. And then there's our veggies, so nicely finely chopped. And I don't know if you can see how thin these are, but just very thin as you can get the mushrooms. And then there's our cup of cheese and our tablespoon of garlic. And a correction from earlier, I said 1 tablespoon, I meant 1 teaspoon of each. So all those herbs and seasonings and spices and stuff, that was 1 teaspoon, not 1 tablespoon. And then be sure to get your cream cheese and your butter softening. And now it's time to cut our meat. The next thing I need to show you before we can move on is actually how to cut the meat. Now, I don't know if you were paying attention into when I was showing the ingredients and I showed the pork loin, but if you look really closely at the label, you notice it said 2 pieces. Oops, that didn't work. It needs to be 1 solid chunk of pork loin. So we had to run to the store. We ran to the store and got a pork loin, and I've cut off about 3, maybe 3.5, 4 pounds here. And we're gonna go ahead and cut that up, and I'll show you how to go from pork loin to pinwheel flat. Yeah, let's do it. Obviously the pork loin started out bigger than this, and I took a nice straight edge. This is a good long, I don't know, 8-10 inch blade here, and just cut it off. Now I could cut it this way, but I have my ulu knife, so I'm going to use my ulu knife today, and I wanted to show you all that process. So while you're cutting it, the idea is to make it flat, okay? So do you see this height right here? That's what we're going to take away, and to do that, we're going to kind of cut it and then go down and then across and then down and across, and it'll just unroll. So let me show you how to do that. So picture like a little spiral, so to say, in the center of the roast. And the thinner you can get it, the better it'll work. And you come almost to the edge, like right there is great. And then just make sure your cut is straight and even all the way down. I'm still new at this, and the paper is going to slide around. I've got the paper down here because my cutting board isn't quite long enough. So I put 2 cutting boards together and then use the paper to kind of help Yeah, that looks really good right there to help keep the juices and stuff from going down. All right. So now we come down a little. Right there. You can see how it's already unrolling. Okay. And now we're going to go across the other direction this way. So now I've turned that thicker roast. One side it looks like this. On the other side it looks like this. Which is great. And I could actually get this thinner if I wanted to, but I don't think I want to push my luck. I want to keep some meat for the actual spiral. But anywhere that you see it's too thick, I'm going to come in and just spread it. Right in there, still a little thick. That's good, right? Just like that. That was perfect. Now right here, come down this way more. And that looks great. It's pretty even all the way across. Yeah, I couldn't take it. I went ahead and thinned it out some, and I pushed my luck a little bit too far, and I ended up with quite a few holes in it. But that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to take the tenderizer and we're going to pound it out, and that will kind of push a lot of those holes back together and even this out the rest of the way and prep it for our spread and our lettuce and our filling and stuff so that we can roll it. So let's get to that and do that. So basically, again, you're just tenderizing it, kind of mushing it all back together and creating a uniform, even surface. Doesn't have to be great. It can have some holes in it. No big deal. Try to keep one side with as few holes as possible. So next, we tenderize this with some Worcestershire sauce and our seasoning. So this is Worcestershire sauce. And just all over the surface. Kind of move that around and rub it around so that it's in everything, all the little pores that we just created, all those little pores. Next, we're going to take some garlic and just spread that around as well. And our seasonings. And here's our seasoning mix. Just blended all of the herbs and stuff together, and that just goes all over the surface. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to let that sit while we get our cream sauce made. Get our cream sauce mixed up. So let's start with our block of cheese. That's our cream cheese. And a half a stick of butter. And our 2 eggs. Whisk all that together until it's really smooth. And that looks really good. So it should be no lumps at all, very, very smooth. And now we're going to go ahead and take what's left of our garlic and our seasonings, a little bit, about half of what's left of that. So you need obviously to reserve some of your herbs and seasonings for different stages. And now is our shredded cheese. We're just going to mix that together until it's smooth too. And that is even, and well, everything's evenly incorporated and equal, and it looks fabulous. So that's what we're looking for, is just a really smooth, almost like sour cream or mayonnaise, you know. So there it is. So now let's go ahead and prepare our ground pork to go in there as well. It's just really simple. We're going to mix some seasonings in with it and mash it together until it's super, super soft, and then it's ready to be used. Okay, so we put our pork in the bowl. Add our splash or 2 of Worcestershire sauce. And this is where the last of our seasonings come into play. Just all of those. Now, if you really want to up the garlic, you can add a little bit more garlic. I love garlic, so yeah, no vampires dare mess with my family. There we go, just like that. And now you just mush it all together really, really thoroughly until it's soft and like soft hamburger. And this is where a lot of that flavor is coming from right here. Looks great. So really work it until all of the grains are gone and it's super, super soft. That's great. All right. Wow, it's a lot just getting to this point, but I tell you, it's worth it in the end. So now we're going to go ahead and put all this together. Are you ready? I know I am. We're going to start with our cream cheese. So remember, we've got our meat. It's spread out as far and thin as we could, and we've got it pounded and tenderized, Worcestershire sauce seasoning, and now we take our cream cheese mixture. And we're going to start just dolloping it on there. You don't want to use all the cream cheese mixture, and you want to make as thin a layer as possible. Think like if you're spreading mayonnaise on a sandwich. So that's about half of it there. And then just start spreading it out really, really thin. This kind of acts as like a glue for the next layer of some good stuff. That looks fabulous, just like that. Next is our spinach. You take your spinach and put it on there, just layer by layer, and cover the whole surface. Once you've got a nice even layer of the spinach on there, you go ahead and put the rest of your cream cheese. Okay, there we go. One more layer of cream cheese on top of our spinach. Now we go ahead and put on our next layer with the carrots. Our next layer is our meat. So the meat is a little bit complicated. You've got to actually smash it down into these really thin patties, as thin as you can get them. And then you just lay the patty down and press it down into the carrots. It should look about like this when you're done, so just get it as thin and spread out as you possibly can. So our next step is our bell peppers and our onions. You just take and make a layer of those. You spread it around. Once you've got it all on there like this, you just press those peppers down into that ground pork. All those beautiful onions. Look at all those colors. That is just gorgeous. I want to go ahead and add a layer of cheese in here to help the mushrooms stick a little bit better. I'm just going to take my shredded cheese and just very lightly sprinkle this all the way down and around. And as this melts, it'll help the mushrooms stick. Good, just like that. And that's what's next is our mushrooms. Now don't get too carried away, just scatter them around. Okay, that looks like a nice even layer of mushrooms. Now, a little bit more cheese on top. I like lots of cheese. Beautiful. We are ready to roll. So we're going to start from this end and we're going to roll it this way. Everything is pressed down good. So you just lift and kind of hold it all together and scoop and roll and press. And here you You get to the very, very end, and then you just squeeze it all together. It's okay if stuff comes out the side there. So now we're going to tie it up. You lay your strings out side by side. Take your roast and you lay it where the fold is down, and then you adjust your strings as needed. But let's go ahead and tie the first few. Give it a good tight squeeze. There's the first one. And our last one. This will go right across the middle. Okay. Just like that. And now that is ready to wrap in foil and put in a glass container and bake. And you can press your sides in. And then when we cut it, the rings will stand out even more. All right, what I have going here now is a large piece of foil. So you just put your foil down, put your roast on the foil, and then we're gonna wrap it. So you pull the sides up and down, both sides. Now this is a double piece of foil bound together in the middle. That's how I got this length or width. And then up and down. And it's not meant to go all the way. That's fine. Just like that. And then you pull this up and over on both sides. Just like that. All right. Now we're going to take one more piece of foil to finish this. Longer piece of foil is just going to go around the middle and act as like a belly strap, I guess you could think of. Up. Up and roll. And then you just fold the sides down or up, whichever direction they need to go, into your glass dish where it's ready to bake. So we're going to set the oven. Bake. 375. We're going to bake this for about an hour, hour and a half, and then it'll be ready to eat. At about the 1 hour mark, go ahead and turn your oven temperature up to 400 degrees. Get this out of here. It's okay if some of the stuff falls out the ends. We're going to trim that part off and slide it over. That looks spectacular. So the first part is going to be to release these strings. Just cut them off. Just raise them up. And just pull right out. And then we just slice it. So we're going to slice the end off first. And let me show you that before we cut the next piece. Pretty that turned out. So just slice pretty thick. Okay, let's plate one up and see how it looks. I like this one right here. Voila. Look how pretty that turned out. I love the presentation of these. They're just beautiful. I love how all of the veggies work together with the pork in there. It is just so rich and flavorful. It is absolutely delicious. Now that you know how to make one, let me know what you might do different. What ingredients might you use that are a little different from the ones I use? And give me a post that in the comments and let me know what you think.
And of course, do all the good stuff. Share, like, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. We're going to be doing another garden update pretty soon, and pretty soon we're going to do another breed highlight, and oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff coming up, so you don't want to miss any of it. Thanks for joining me, y'all. Thanks for watching.